Alrighty then, and welcome back to the old computerino. As you may notice, I've changed the desktop background. Yeah, I've been following the Artemis 2 mission. It's been pretty exciting, to say the least. And I absolutely love this picture. There's a bunch of other pictures as well that are just brilliant, but this one I absolutely love. And I'm hoping once, because it's a little pixelated here on the desktop, hopefully once they start downloading the actual information we'll get higher resolution images, I'm sure. Anyway, today we're going to do another sort of remix, and this is of another track that I'm probably going to include in the Eutrophy album at some point. And this is something that I made fairly recently. It's kind of fun. Let's just take a look. Be in this big chunk of stuff. It's going to be interesting to do though, because it's made up of two projects which are then compiled into one. So yeah, we'll have to do each one separately, but that's okay because one of them is significantly smaller than the other one. But yeah, so let's open up the first one. It's probably going to be around about the same process as the first track in Eutrophy. Just go through and disable all of the non-sound design mixer plugins, or delete all of the non-sound design mixer plugins, and then go through and remix it piece by piece. This one won't take as long as the first track of Eutrophy. That's a huge project. This one is still big, but not quite as big. Anecdotally as well, I seem to it feels like VST3 plugins tend to take longer to load in FL Studio. I don't know about other doors, but the projects do not open as quickly as they used to. I'm almost certain of that. Here we go. Here's our project. Significantly less organized than the first track of Eutrophy, although that wasn't particularly organized in the first place. Let's pop on our convolver for the atoms. But yeah, there's all sorts of problems with this song in terms of the mix. It sounds alright on headphones, but under speakers, not so much. And I can't really blame the arrangement. I'm pretty proud of the arrangement with this one. I think it's literally just the mix. So yeah, let's get into removing all non-sound design plugins. This one won't take quite as long as Eutrophy, because instead of being hundreds of hundreds, like just under 100 or just over 100 mixer tracks, this one is just 30. So let's get into that. Alright, and there we go. That was easy. Makes it much easier when there's only 30 odd mixer tracks. Let's go ahead and reset all of the panning and stereo width controls for all of the mixer tracks. And then we'll go ahead and reset all of the gain for the mixer tracks. Alright, there we go. I have kept some mixer tracks here, like this one that has Abstract Chamber. Oh, why is that detached? Abstract Chamber, which is a reverb plugin. If I can... Yeah, there's a problem with Abstract Chamber in the DPI settings. Anyway, but yeah, so I've kept those, but everything else pretty much I got rid of, because it didn't seem like there was much in here that was sound design. Oh, except for guitar rig, because, you know, obviously that's a sound design thing, right? But yeah, now it's just a case of bringing things in. So I may keep you with me for this one because it's only a relatively short song, or I might turn it into a time lapse, who knows. But yeah, let's get started. Alright, welcome back. So, it has been done. It actually took quite a lot longer than I thought it would. It's been probably about 40 odd minutes or so. And this one was a little bit more challenging. I think it's got some problems. It does actually have some problems with the arrangement, but I've managed to just sort of make it sound okay. It's got some problems with some of the stuff in... There's some overlapping frequencies there that I just can't seem to get my head around. But I've managed to just sort of compensate for it by putting a dynamic EQ on the master, which it's kind of a last resort for me a lot of the time. At this point, it's mostly just because I'm being a little bit lazy. It's getting towards the end of the day, I'm getting tired. But yeah. But yeah, there's not all that much to it apart from that. It's just a whole bunch of EQ and compression throughout all of this. A little bit of dynamic EQ here and there. But yeah, that's this part. There's also another part, which I might as well open up. Oh, I was going to say I might as well open it up now. But yeah, I'm getting tired. It's the end of the day. It's like 4:45 on a Sunday, so... I'm really feeling kind of pooped, and I need to kind of have a break or do something recreational or something like that. But yeah, so this is pretty much done. There's two versions of this, by the way, because it's a composite song. So there's this project and another project, and they kind of intertwine. So I've got this sort of split up version of the song here, which just sort of ends. And then it starts up here. And then it starts back up again here. This will be the version that I'll render out, because that'll be what I will use in my comp. And this will be 6 split. Okay, so I think that's going to be about it for this session. Like I said, I need some rest. I need to chill out for a little bit. But we'll get on to the next project in the next session of this video. Anyway, until then. Alright then, hello and welcome back. It's been about 2 weeks since the last session. I didn't mean for it to be this long. In fact, I think I was planning on coming back to it that afternoon or that evening, but yeah, things didn't work out. It's 2 weeks ago, so I can't remember exactly why, but yeah, I suppose it doesn't really matter. But a lot has happened since then. I've made quite a few developments on this track. In particular, I've added in a couple of these instruments here, so glockenspiel and some vibes. And they just kind of add a little bit of bling to this main pattern here. The other thing I've done is add in a few bits of extra drums. So we've got the original drum loop here, and then we'll add these back in. It doesn't work perfectly, but it does its job. I think I'd like to put some like instrumentation in there up on the high end, just to add a little bit of life to the instrumentation itself. I don't know, some arps or some trills or just some random musings up in the high register. Don't know. And I think the only other thing I've added is I've just added this like little brass thing here to just accentuate that ending phrase. So it really just pushes that out and blares it in your face, which is exactly what you need before this little quiet section here. And then it appears again at the end as well. And overall, I think it's sounding pretty good. There's one thing I'm going to do before we move on to the next part of this, which is doing a remix of the sort of middle section of this song, which I hopefully plan to expand considerably, but we'll get to that at a later date. Right now, we're just bringing what we've got up to scratch, although I have added all these extra elements, but anyway. And that is what we're going to do, is we're going to go into my music library here. I'm going to pop down to, oh, go away, Cliff Rigid. We're going to go down to what I would like to be a reference for this album, which is in Mike Oldfield Island's Wind Chimes. This is a sort of like a bit of an inspiration for the structure of this album, and also a little bit of an inspiration for like the instrumentation, although, you know, stylistically it's very different. But it's that song is like a piece of my childhood. So what we're going to do is just drag it straight in onto an empty track here, and then we're going to go ahead and create our own separate master here. So we're going to output to Focusrite output 1 and 2. We're not going to send it to the main master, but we are going to put Fruity Convolver on. I'll just copy this one across over there. There we go. And hopefully this works. We'll see. Let's turn it down so we don't smash our ears out. Then we're going to find a piece of this which we're going to use as a reference. I think it's probably going to be that bit. think it is going to be that bit. So let's just cut this out here. Obviously there's not much of it there, but we'll put it next to this middle section of the song. And then we'll go back and forth between these two. And in the meantime, we'll add just a little EQ on here. And yeah, we'll do it after dynamic EQ, sure. But yeah, see, this reveals that this is actually very bright right now, which is what I knew before. I've actually done this sort of outside of, in fact, did I, oh no, I don't think I did save a preset. I think it was for something else. But I think what we're just going to do is we're going to bring down this like upper area here, probably around 4K we'll start at. Maybe it needs to be a bit higher, but we'll bring it down a little bit. We'll see how that goes. I think that'll work. All right, so let's go ahead and mute that now. And then we'll save this and we'll give it a render into here. We'll do D split. And yeah, I'll get back to you once that's done. Alright, so there you go, it's all rendered out now, and we are about to open up the other project, which contains the sort of middle section of that song. This could take a hot minute because it's basically a branch of that other project. So it contains a fair bit of the original bones of that project, but it's been changed quite a lot. In order to work with this middle section. So yeah, could take a minute. I'll see you when it's loaded. Alright, here we are. So this is the arrangement of the project here. If we go back to, see, it's got, well, you won't be able to read this because you're seeing a wide view, but it's got the two original arrangements from the other one. If we go back here, there's not as much here, but it's still the same project, right? Oh, hold on. I forgot. I have to put the convolver on. There we are. Oh boy. That don't sound too good. Yeah, it's been changed. So this doesn't really work anymore, but this should. And there you go, that's the middle section of the song. A little bit different stylistically, but let's go ahead and start the remixing process. So firstly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through here and I'm just going to mute these so I don't accidentally load them back up again. I think these ones were muted, right? Yeah, these aren't playing. So, cool. So let's go ahead and we're going to get rid of everything in here that is not sound design related and then turn everything down. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with that. Alright, and there we are. It's all emptied out. The only things that remain are the convolver on the master track and some guitar rigs around the place, some delays, and then of course we've got, I think, we've got a flangus on. Oh, we don't even need this because this bass doesn't play in there, so we can get rid of that. some other guitar rigs, and then some abstract chambers, which is a reverb, which I've just kind of placed all of the reverbs over on this side so that we can just have them at full volume the whole time. So now it's time to bring things back in and see how we go. Alright, sorry about that. The GoPro overheated as usual, and disturbingly, the batteries are swelling. Well, these two are, and unfortunately I can't seem to find a receipt. So yeah, we'll see how we go. They actually don't look too bad now, but they're definitely swelling when they're being used. So it's a bit of a shame I can't find a receipt. Yeah, you know, something dangerous, something, whatever. A bit of a shame I can't find a receipt. I might just have to eat the cost of buying an extra 2 batteries for that. I'm not sure where the receipt would have gone, but anyway, that is not the subject of this video. We are, if I remember correctly, checking this against a reference. I mean, it sounds very different, but I think it's about as good as we're gonna get it. But I do want to just take this and go. Just chill out with that hi-hat there. We need a flourish of some kind at the end there, but I think that's a topic for another video. What I am going to plop on the end though is just a little bit of a ozone exciter. Chuck it on tape. This might be one of the times where that actually does more harm than good, so we're going to get rid of that. No, I didn't like the sound of that. Alright. And then what we'll do is we'll render this out to a WAV file. And then after that, we've got a comp file that I use to combine the two together. And it should be mostly just a case of swapping them out. I am going to try... probably going to remove some of the stuff from them. Oh, I've just realized I've rendered that out with the Convolver active. So... one thing I'm very much hoping is that I haven't done that for the other one, which I suspect I probably have. Oh yeah, chill out. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna go back to the other project and re-render it out, and then yeah, I'll see you in the comp project. Alright, so rendering is complete. I did go back and make a few changes after listening on headphones to the middle section, the warm riff. Just a couple of things that just needed rebalancing that didn't quite come through on speakers. It's kind of always why you check on both. You don't just do speakers, you also do headphones as well. The technical term as well, by the way, is monitors, but I'm using speakers because monitors amongst most people, including myself, brings up the picture of a computer display. So, yeah. But anyway, what we're going to be doing now, so this is the comp project, and we're going to go into here, and we're just going to replace these files with the new mixes. And we don't have much on here. Let's go ahead and just remove all of the plugins on everything, and we'll see how it sounds. Oh, that reminds me, I have to plop on my convolver. Doesn't quite work, does it? Something's off here. Yeah. Well, this seems to be an issue that I think needs a little bit more thought than just sitting here trying to bang my head against the wall. So, I'm actually pretty happy with how this mix has come out in isolation. It's got some things that I think we need to work on. The real thing is the transition between the two. That's something that I think needs quite a bit of extra work. But I think that's a problem of let's go away and do something else, and then we'll come back to it eventually. And I think this video as well has kind of like, it's been 2 weeks since the last time I filmed a session, and it's spanned across enough time. So I think in this case what we're going to do is we're going to leave this here, and I'm going to think about it. I might come back and I might work on it, and you might hear about it later. Or we might come back and work on it together, I'm not sure. But in the meantime, there are some other things with this album that I do need to work on, which I might make a video on eventually. Or I could work on it by myself. Who knows, right? But anyway, I think we're going to leave this one here for now. So, yeah. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you in my next music production video. Till then.